AI agents have one big problem. When you give them a URL, they often claim to have read the page, but their internal vision is frequently obstructed. There's a new tool out there called Agent Reading Test, which was designed by Zachary Carey and which is intended to solve this issue. It uses a series of canary tokens, which are unique strings hidden across 10 different web pages, to prove exactly where an agent's reading capability breaks down. In this video, we'll take a look at the agent reading test, see how it works, and try it out for ourselves. It's gonna be a lot of fun, so let's dive into it. So most people assume that when an agent visits a URL, it sees what the human sees. But in reality, agents rely on fetch pipelines that can be tripped up by modern web development practices. The agent reading test targets these specific failure modes. One example is the Boilerplate Burial, where the actual content is placed after 80,000 characters of inline CSS. If an agent has a small context window, for its initial fetch, it might only see the styling code and conclude that the page is empty. The test includes 10 distinct challenges like this that helps us identify if the agent is actually reading the whole page. For example, there is the truncation test. Canaries are placed at various intervals, such as 75k and 130k characters, and this tests if the agent's pipeline cuts off long documentation. And for example, many modern sites use single-page applications where the content only appears after JavaScript runs. And many agents only look at the loading spinner and see the shell of the page. But this test helps us identify if that is truly the case. Sometimes there might be situations where broken code can be a culprit. Like for example, an unclosed markdown tag can swallow the rest of the page content, making it invisible to the agent's parser. And sometimes documentation hides information behind language tabs, like switching between the Python example and the Java example. If the agent only scrapes the first tab, it misses the rest of the information. So this test goes over these and other similar challenges to evaluate the agent's true ability to read a page and then give you a final score out of 20. But we also have to keep in mind that this test is not bulletproof. Some agents actually manage to cheat through it using sneaky tactics. One of the most interesting findings from the test is score inflation. During early testing with agents like Claude Code, the agents would often claim they found 17 or 18 tokens even when they only actually found 15. They do this through workarounds. For example, if a page uses a redirect that the agent's pipeline doesn't follow, the agent might notice the redirect in the header, manually fetch the new URL in the second step, and claim the credit. While this is helpful, this masks the fact that the agent's automated reading tool is actually broken. So in some instances, score inflation can still occur, so take this test with a grain of salt. But with that said, let's go ahead and try it out for ourselves. And running the test is pretty straightforward. You can run it by pointing your favorite AI agent or browse tool at agentreadingtest.com and ask it to find all the canary tokens on the site. And then you have to compare its list against the answer key provided in the site. I'll show you how that works in a second. So in my case, I asked Kimi 2.5 to conduct the test. I just prompted it with the initial prompt and let it do its thing. It took Kimi roughly 2 minutes to go through the entire test, and by the end we get this long text output, which we should absolutely ignore because we are only interested in the canary markers it returns to us. So find the area where the agent outputs the markers themselves, and this is the clue that will actually evaluate how well the agent did the test. So we should copy that list and then paste it in the score section of the website to get back the final true results. And as you can see, Kimi 2.5 scored 13 out of 20 points, and we also get a more detailed overview on where the agent did well and where it failed. And as you can see, Kimi had some troubles reading tabbed content, and we also see that it had difficulties properly reading markdown content. So overall, I think this is a pretty cool test that gives you some sense of how the agents actually read the web and identify where they're taking shortcuts or producing hallucinations. And I also think that this is a good reminder that even with all the intelligence of modern agents, there are still some specific areas of the web where the agents still struggle to accurately retrieve information. So there you have it, folks. That is the agent reading test in a nutshell. What are your thoughts on it? If you end up running this test for other AI agents, post your results in the comment section down below. It would be very curious to see which agents have the best scores. And folks, if you like these types of technical breakdowns, please let me know by smashing that like button underneath the video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. This has been Andres from BetterStack, and I will see you in the next videos.